Hi, this is Little Dwarf playing games while rambling incoherently into a microphone. Why? Well, just because I can, and I continue with Call of Cthulhu blind. I am trying to find a combination to the safe of Algernon and Drake, so let's listen to the recordings. Listen.
And these red drops, like precious stones, lie fixed, set in divine gold. To be the guardian of the Grail does not protect me from its attractions, Henry. And I do confess it. I am willing to pay to know its secrets.
Wait, what? Are you telling me that the chalice is literally the Holy Grail?
I finally understood that we were only pieces on the chessboard of the gods. Let those of us who are still standing protect our White Queen from their dark soldiers. I see our number dwindling, and my will strengthens as my apprehension grows. We shall refuse to be the playthings of destiny. Dear friend, I thank you again for the anthology of the works of Arkham editions that you sent me. Volume 9, Azathoth and Other Horrors, seemed particularly relevant to my research. I never tire of browsing through them.
Although I guess the Holy Grail is not the only Grail in existence, because it doesn't make sense. The Holy Grail is supposed to be filled with the blood of Christ. It isn't supposed to be something that you fill with your own blood, and that was kind of implied.
The chalice of knowledge. The Queen has little protection.
He was talking about Volume 9, specifically.
What did Drake say about this collection? Drake talked about a particular volume.
Yeah, which is this one. First published in 1908. But there's... Wait, how does it... Let me see how the safe works, because there are 3 dials. 1908. So, So are there 3 separate codes? It's interesting, but also weird. Okay, let me go back to this note, which was clues. Oop, it was in inventory, I think. Wait, was it? Where do I find the note by Drake? Because he said something about order. The clues to the combination are to be found in 3 cylinders, each hidden. Each cylinder is numbered. Okay, there are 3 cylinders, and there are also 3 dials on this. So, and he said that he prefers order in the end, that order prevails in the end. So I would imagine each of the recordings reveals 1 digit, although that doesn't really make sense, because that's not how this kind of safe works. And to be honest, if it really works this way in the game, that I'm supposed to enter 1 digit on each of the dials, then I will be a little bit annoyed, because literally that's not how this kind of safe is supposed to work. You're supposed to put 1 digit, then spin it in the other direction, put the other digit, then spin it in the other direction, and so on. It's actually quite cool. I've learned that's how those kind of safes used to work, because I didn't know. I've learned that in Dark Corners of the Earth, because it had a similar well, similar. It had a riddle at one point with a save, but it only had one dial, and you had to, put one number, change direction, and so on. So it was cool and interesting. Whereas this, if it works how I think it does, is pretty simplified and also unrealistic. So it would be, the third number would be volume 9.
So these are the volumes that Drake was talking. What did Drake say about this? Drake talked about a particular volume.
Wait.
So these are the volumes that.
Where
What did Drake say
where
about
is
this
the-
collection? Drake talked about a. So these are the volumes that Drake was talking about in his message.
Okay, am I losing my
What
mind?
did Drake say about this collection?
Ah, right. Volume 9, Azathoth. So this would be 9. Now,
And these red drops, like precious stones, lie fixed, set in divine gold. To be the guardian of the Grail does not protect me from its attractions, Henry. And I do confess it. I am willing to pay to know its secrets.
wait, red drops, so the number of rubies,
The chalice of knowledge.
I would imagine this. So 1. But how do I remember where I started if it's all the same? 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, there is this visible crack, so let's count from that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then the crack and this, so it's 5 rubies. And then something about the chess plate, chess board.
I finally understood that we were only pieces on the chessboard of the gods. Let those of us who are still standing protect our White Queen from their dark soldiers. I see our number dwindling, and my will strengthens as my apprehension grows. We shall refuse to be the playthings of destiny.
Okay, so the numbers of the white pieces are dwindling. So there are 3 of them still on the board, not counting the queen. So it's either 3 or 4. Let's try with 3. Well, I'm kind of disappointed and also insulted. I feel like this would have been much cooler if there was just one dial and you had to turn it properly. Because this is literally how it doesn't work this way. It's not how this kind of a save would work. Riverside Institute. In the nameless bookstore, Pierce traced the trail of an attempted burglary. He discovered that Charles Hawkins was behind the attempt. Pierce opened the safe to find what the latter and Sarah Hawkins had hidden there. A book covered in human skin lay inside. Irresistibly attracted the detective. When he opened it, his mind was projected into another body. I feel like the description of the chapter is a bit of a spoiler, because I wouldn't have guessed that just from the previous cutscene. Like, I wasn't sure what was happening. And transferring bodies, transferring souls and changing bodies wasn't something I would have thought about if the game wouldn't have just told me.
Dr. Colden, this man's condition is deteriorating.
What says Dr. Fuller? It's his patient, after all.
He's busy with Captain Fitzroy. He specifically asked us not to bother him when that's the case.
Oh, of course. I'll see what I can do. Mr. Blake, can you hear me? I'm Dr. Colden. We'll take care of you.
There's nothing we can do. I tried talking to him. He's catatonic.
So I guess I don't know. Well, I guess because I'm not sure what exactly happened. Did Pierce's consciousness literally transfer into the body of Mary Colden, or is he just like watching what she does, but she is still in control of her own body? Like, I'm not quite sure. But judging from the responses, like if this was Pierce in her body, I would imagine he would be much more agitated and weirded out. So I'm assuming it's her doing what she would have done anyway, and he's just watching. Okay, let's examine the patient.
Very well. I'll examine him. 30-year-old subject. Severe hypothermia. Erythematous papules around the eyes and eardrums. Necrosed palpebral tissue. Lord, this smell.
What? That's kind of rude to say that the patient has an odious smell right in front of the patient. Although I guess if he's catatonic, he doesn't really hear that.
Severe malnutrition. Swollen abdomen with traces of petechia. Doesn't seem like an edema. Slight protuberances seem to indicate the presence of a foreign body. His skin shows abnormal loss of color and seems dried out. He's totally dehydrated. His fingertips and toes seem to feature a slight ring under the skin, tender at the touch, slightly sticky.
So, Doctor, an opinion?
I'm not sure I have the necessary knowledge to treat this man.
Don't say that. You're our most worthy doctor after Dr. Fuller.
Some of his symptoms are beyond my comprehension.
What did you find?
Well, I found all of those things, so I assume I'll be able to report all of them.
Did you examine his abdomen? It would seem there's something inside.
He hasn't eaten in days. Are you certain it's not an edema?
No. Can't you recognize an edema? Pushing with your finger won't leave a trace. And look at these bumps.
It's not like he could be pregnant.
Whatever it is, this man has something inside him that shouldn't be there. We should operate on him at once.
Dr. Fuller said not to worry, that the edema would go away by itself.
You know, I'm not sure Dr. Fuller is telling the truth.
Well, actually, on the subject of him possibly being quote-unquote pregnant, I feel like it's kind of possible. Like, he might be implanted with, obviously he would not be pregnant in the exact terms of human pregnancy, because that's impossible what with the lack of necessary organs. But what I mean is he might have been implanted with like a deep one creature, or some creature that's using his body as an incubator, and when it's matured it's going to rip out, as in Alien, for example.
In spite of the muscle contractions, his arms seem limp.
Yes. They can't have decalcified, not at this rate.
And yet, if there is a bone in this arm, it's softer than that of a newborn baby. What about his cranium?
It's soft at the touch. It does seem like the skull of a baby.
Look at these sticky rings growing at his fingertips. What can be happening?
I'm sure you'll find an explanation. You have to.
I see signs of hypodermoclysis, but he's still dehydrated. When was his last IV?
He's constantly under perfusion. I've even gone beyond the recommended dose to no avail. And you won't believe me, but when we bathed him earlier...
He seemed to feel better?
Yes. Like he needs an aquarium, not a perfusion. But that doesn't explain his condition.
Well, so I guess he himself might be transforming to a deep one, because it's actually something that's, taken directly from the stories of H.P. Lovecraft. One of his most famous ones, The Shadow over Innsmouth, directly talks about the practice of inbreeding between humans and the deep ones. And once such a half-breed matures, it grows more and more akin to a deep one himself, and eventually goes down to the sea to live with the rest of the deep ones.
I almost don't believe it myself, but these symptoms are not those usually associated with the human species.
What do you mean? Don't tell me you believe in extraterrestrials.
No. This poor man is from our world, all right. But his body is undergoing unnatural mutations, and this transformation is killing him. His body simply can't cope.
Where could he have gotten such an infection?
I pray that it's not here.
Dr. Colden, may I know what you're doing to my patient?
What I'm doing? How about what you've done to him?
Let us calm down, my dear Marie. I don't appreciate your tone, nor your insinuations. I've done to him what I do to all my patients, provide him with the best available care.
Your imagination is without limit. It's your homemade drug again, is it not? Those people are not your guinea pigs.
There, there. What have you seen to put you in such a state?
Well, I'm not going to accuse him outright, because it seems it would serve no purpose. Like, even if he is guilty, then what, and he most likely, like 99% is, then what would that accomplish? He would never come clean in public. So...
These are alarming symptoms. If we don't act, he'll die.
Do you believe that? I'm not as convinced, you see. I even think this man has a strong chance of completely healing from his ailments.
No, Doctor. This patient isn't himself anymore. He's dying.
Really? What do you mean by isn't himself?
He's changing. His physical characteristics, they are more animal than human now.
Fascinating. An animal, you say? Could you be more precise? Cephalopod, perhaps?
This amuses you.
Your reaction does. I know your thirst for knowledge, Doctor. It's your innocent worries for this man that have you overreacting.
For this man, and the others whose medical files you've been hiding.
I have to protect my discovery. These people owe me their life, but the world isn't ready yet. It will be, in time.
I will not let you do this.
You disappoint me, Marie, but I still have hope you'll one day share my point of view. In the meantime, take care of your own patients and try not to forget who you're dealing with.
That was pretty clearly a threat.
Is that a threat?
Yeah.
What did he mean?
It was a warning. Dr. Fuller is this institution's founder and one of our profession's most influential voices. My word is of no weight against his. If I continue to protest, I will only ruin my reputation and career.
It's scandalous. Can't we do anything? Is there no evidence of his crimes?
Well, I guess the files would be the proof.
Oh, that evidence exists. I'm sure of it. I need to find the missing medical files.
And where would you find those? In his office? What if you get caught?
I'd rather not think about that. I'm counting on your discretion.
Of course, Doctor. You can count on me. I'll keep mum.
What? What does my mum have to do with it? Like, I'm not familiar at all with that expression. So it's weird to me that she said that. Like, obviously what she meant, I imagine, is that she will keep discreet. She will not betray my trust. But, again, what does my mom have to do with it?
An unknown medicine. Judging by the other ones, it causes heavy side effects.
Okay, get into Fuller's office. But I do want to thoroughly explore the facility before I do that. High security unit.
The answers must be hidden in Fuller's office.
So this goes back down to the basement where Pierce once was.
This place draws you in and never lets you go.
They are counting down days in the year as if they were, I don't know, trapped here or something. Like, I don't think it's something that people usually do. You know, at least I don't think so. I've never met anyone who'd cross out days in their regular calendar. You usually only do that if you're waiting for something.
Chronic insomnia. Like half the island.
Huh. Interesting. And pretty sure that's important. You know, thematically important. Okay, let's go and check Block B.
Hay fever. What's he doing here?
What's hay fever? Don't know that, unfortunately.
Doctor, please. My chest. Oh.
His perfusion of a semi-physiological solution doesn't seem to work. He's undergoing a ventricular fibrillation. Nurse? Deborah, come and help me, please. His potassium level is too high. Replace it with 2% glucose solution with insulin, calcium, and sodium bicarbonate.
I'll tend to it right away.
Thank you. He's in your hands.
Okay, I really hope she is competent, because I have no idea what she just said. And I have no idea if that's, you know, the proper way to proceed in such a case, so let's just hope it is.
Ah, the whaling station. What's wrong with me?
What are you talking about?
Doctor, that you?
Yes, it's Dr. Colden. Tell me what happened.
It's the old whaling station. See?
What?
What did you see there?
Nothing. Nothing at all. The floor was all rotten and I fell straight through.
And that's how you broke your back?
Perhaps. No idea. Passed out.
He broke his back in an accident down by the docks.
Does she mean by broke his back, does she mean broke his spine? Because if so, then he'd be paralyzed for life, which is nightmarish even today. But back in the day, there was much less possibility of, like, you know, advanced like wheelchairs, because nowadays with enough money you could possibly get like a wheelchair that you could move with like tracking your, I don't know, eye movements even possibly, or like slight movements of your head, things like that. Like with enough money you can really you know, accomplish a lot. Obviously it would still majorly suck to be paralyzed. Like it's one of the, like, because you're pretty much confined to like you're a prisoner if you're in your own body and you can't do anything without others helping you, but you, well, anything, most of the things, but you would be able to do some things with the help of modern technology. But back in the day, I think it would be better to just die. Maybe even nowadays. Like I wonder what I would have done in such a situation. Like I was once I once had both my legs in plaster for like a couple months, from my thighs up to my feet, I mean down to my feet rather, because of a surgery related to my disability, and it was already majorly annoying because obviously I couldn't really move from my bed, and things like I couldn't go to the toilet, so somebody had to help me with that, and that alone was, a major pain in the ass, but at least I still could move the rest of my body, and I spent most of my time either reading books or even, playing on my laptop in bed. But if I were completely paralyzed, then I don't think I could have, well, obviously, even if only my legs, even if I didn't have the use of my legs forever, I'm not sure if I could have taken that, but being completely paralyzed is like, a totally different matter and 1,000 times worse.
She recently came back from the surgical block. She's stable. Given her file, a nephrectomy would have been inevitable, but Fuller was able to save her kidney.
So does he have some kind of a regenerative serum?
What is the boiler room key doing here? The key to the boiler room. Not where I expected to find it.
Well, I assume I'm going to need it eventually, so it's good to remember that it's here.
Another insomniac. I should find the cause for such a widespread trouble.
Dr. Colden, here you are at last. This patient was again brought up to the psychiatric wing. We've been following the treatment you prescribed, but the dysgeusia persists and he's lost a great deal of weight. We haven't been able to move him. The stress makes him hyperallergic.
Sir, I am going to examine you. Do you understand? Inject him with a dose of pentobarbital, intramuscular, so that I can conduct the clinical examination. He bit his lips so much, they're still bleeding. White froth, evidently because of such drooling. His binds left bloody wounds.
So, Doctor, what should we do with this patient?
Was he mistreated? That's certainly a possibility in this place, knowing that Dr. Fuller is both an asshole and possibly insane, but I was under the impression that the patient, hurt himself. Although, by certain definition, you could say that allowing him to do that is also kind of a way to mistreat him, because they are supposed to stop them from doing that, Let's risk it.
Those basement brutes tied him up too tight, and now he's hurt.
I keep trying to heal his wounds, but he reopens them.
Do you have a diploma as a nurse?
Excuse me?
So take care of this man.
What? That was a weird exchange. All things considered. Okay, there's the lobby. Block B, I've searched that.
Gentlemen, may I help you?
We're waiting on news regarding our mother, Maureen Harding. She came in with a kidney problem, but we haven't heard anything since.
I saw her actually.
I've tended to her, and I have good news. Her blood analysis is reassuring. Her kidneys are as new.
Are you talking about the same person? This is miraculous.
She's still recovering, but you may speak to her upon her awakening.
Oh, thank you so much, Doctor. We'll wait for her to wake up. We've been here since this morning, so it won't make a difference.
Okay. Kitchen. Those disgusting meals again.
Patients and hospital personnel eat the same food.
Doesn't look like there's anything particularly interesting in here. At least at this moment in time. Well, let's check the lobby. Hawkins wing. Generous donor and unfailing support. Would that be Charles Hawkins or Sarah Hawkins? Well, I would imagine in those days it would have been the husband who commanded the wealth of the household.
It's a quiet little town. Days go by, steady as ever. I wanted more for myself, but...
Okay, I probably...
There's no way I'm leaving until I find what Fuller is hiding.
Yeah, right. Dr. Batty's asthma cigarettes. What? For the... something relief of paroxysm of asthma. Hay fever, foul breath, all diseases of the throat. Yeah, it's actually not recommended to children under 6. It's actually... I'm not so sure about the latter part. I'm not sure if cigarettes were ever actually intended for children, but the rest is pretty accurate because up to a certain point in history, the cigarettes were actually marketed as something that was healthy. Like, doctors actually marketed cigarettes. Diphtheria is deadly. Immunization is the safeguard. Ask at your local council. So this is about vaccination. Fresh air for the babies is as essential as proper food. In his screened crib, the baby can sleep out of doors, safe from harm. In this pen, the baby can amuse himself and his mother needs feel no anxiety about him. It's like a cage for babies, but apparently it's intended for the outside. Who would leave that on the outside? Like, why would you... Who would leave his baby in an outside cage? Pneumonia strikes like a man-eating shark, led by pilotfish, the common cold. Insult your physician. Consult your physician, rather. Insulting your physician would be kind of rude and also pointless. Red Cross, fight tuberculosis, obey the rules of health.
Where did my fiancée go? I hope those nutcases will stop burdening her with work.
I don't get why they have us waiting so long. Almost no patients here.
That's Bradley.
Ethan.
Wait.
Marie,
right.
What are you doing here?
I'm waiting for my medication, of course. Why?
And apparently she's a master in psychology. And she knows that he's lying.
You're not here for treatment, right?
Am I so obvious?
Only to me. I know you worry about me.
I trust you. I'm happy to see you.
Me too, Ethan. Is that all?
Well, there might be something else. I'm not sure.
Tell me.
I have nightmares. They keep me awake every night. It seems stupid, I know, but they're terrible.
Actually, you're not the only one.
No. No one has ever seen the things I see. It's like I'm turning mad.
So many people have this affliction. It's like an epidemic.
Do you think it might be related to Fuller's work?
I don't know yet, but I will figure all this out. Everyone in Darkwater is suffering from nightmares.
Really?
We don't have any medication left.
Oh, there's no excuse then. I should let you work.
Take care, Ethan.
You too, Marie.
Is everything all right, Ethan?
Yeah, I know I should go.
I will work until late.
Oh, all right.
I'm not sure what their relationship is. Like, are they in a relationship as a couple, or are they family? Like, are they, for example, brother and... Well, I guess they can't be brother and sister because they have different surnames, so... Because the tone of the conversation implies that they're very intimate with each other, because... Well, the general tone plus the fact that she says she knows him better than anyone else, so I will assume that they are a couple.
Dr. Colden.
Anything interesting here?
This man, Edward Pierce, his file is incomplete. What did Fuller do to him?
Medical file of Edward Pierce, strangely incomplete, and the detail of the treatment is not given. It does not respect the standard practice. Okay.
Thank you for your help, Doctor.
Thank you. I'll be going.
Oh, wasn't that no, an enlightening and pleasant conversation?
In theory, this is where we hang the key to the boiler room. Dr. Fuller always keeps his key with him.
But I do know where the key to the boiler room is. It's in one of the blocks, because I've already been there.
Sorry, but nobody can take anything until I finish the inventory.
Okay. Surgery.
The operating room is never accessible after an operation.
Fuller. It's
Let's
close,
hope
probably.
I can go through the administration office.
Yeah. What I imagine. Salmon fishing. Okay. And boiler room is closed. Yep.
I don't have any business in the boiler room.
Well, yet. I would imagine, judging from the mere existence of the key, that I will have business there. Soon enough. This is Fuller's office.
Wait a minute. Where do you think you're going? Dr. Colden.
Mrs. Donovan.
Nobody goes into Dr. Fuller's office. But rest assured, I'll tell him you came by.
That won't be necessary. Thank you.
I will tell him, nonetheless.
Well, so I must find some way to distract her. The reference book of medical sciences. Like a dictionary, this work references in alphabetical order all of the medical sciences known and practiced in the modern world. For each of the entries, the major works and the names of the reference authorities are listed. But I guess she doesn't gain anything from it because she's already proficient in medicine, as opposed to Pierce. Mary Donovan, head nurse. Okay. Nothing interesting at her desk. Guess nothing interesting here in general. Bathroom. Men.
I didn't make this up. And I'm the one who pays. What a pest. It's so unfair.
Yeah, and these are... I was talking about it before. These are for like hydrotherapy because... I think. Because like you sit here and they put like towels with hot and cold water on you and stuff. Or like wrap you in towels and then soak you in hot and cold water. It's something that was actually done in that period. Well, what do you have to
Elizabeth? You all right? Why is this room in such a state?
Because, as always, I'm cleaning it by myself. And the water was once again shut off this morning. I had to bother Mrs. Donovan again, giving her a new excuse to belittle me.
Do you really need Mrs. Donovan to open a valve? Why not ask the janitor?
I can't make these decisions without her approval. Imagine if there were a leak. Anyhow, the boiler room is locked half the time. So every time the water gets shut off, I have to go and endure her reproach until she's settled the problem.
I see. Courage, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Doctor.
I feel like I'm going to screw her over by disabling the water to create...
It's temperamental, if I understand correctly.
To create a distraction. Although if there's another way, then I would rather do that because it's kind of a dick move to, to cause the young nurse to be scolded by the head nurse for something that I've done. Apparently, Mary Colden is not about to crawl through air vents, which I guess is reasonable. Most people wouldn't, especially in a respected position such as a doctor. Okay, this goes back to the blocks.
No, you're pulling my leg. I'm not joking. I saw the schedule. She's alone in the bathroom again. And she still says nothing to that old witch, Donovan?
Oh, listen to the way you talk, you naughty girl. And the answer is no. You can imagine that she doesn't dare say a thing. That silly goose lets herself be trodden on.
Oh well, at least we won't have to clean for a while.
And just wait and see the next time the water's cut off. It's a real show. Dr. Colden?
Unfortunately, I'm afraid I might be forced to do that myself, which reminds me, I should pick up the key from here. Just in case.
The key to the boiler room. All I have to do is shut off the water and hope Donovan takes the bait.
Yeah, to be honest, I would prefer doing something else, if possible. But I haven't...
Watch out for the water, Doctor.
Medicine and Secret Sciences. This very interesting book, aimed at a wide public, demonstrates how non-recognized scientists have influenced modern medicine. Magnetism, grandmother's secrets, Chinese acupuncture, hypnosis, herbal medicine, alchemy, and many others have contributed to an extent to the enrichment of medicine at the beginning of this century. And again, I don't gain anything from that. I haven't been here in the pharmacy area, so let's check it.
The doses prescribed by Fuller are far too high.
Barbiturates, but unfortunately I can't read this.
We've been waiting to be restocked for weeks.
Yeah, she said they are all out of medicine. Presumably, first of all, because most of Darkwater is suffering some symptoms, and second, because Fuller prescribes larger doses than is expected. Homo delinquente. This pseudoscientific work but by Lombroso correlates an individual's morphology with his criminal predispositions. The seriousness of this study and the accuracy can deceive an uninformed reader. This is a real book and a real I've learned about this in my criminology class. It has to do with phrenology. Phrenology was exactly what this talks about, but more specifically, it has to do, and by that I mean it had to do with the fact that Cesare Lombroso thought that certain elements of a person's look were correspondent with his probability of criminal behavior, but phrenology itself has to do with the shape of a person's skull. It was like a whole branch of pseudoscience that had to do with the fact that supposedly by measuring somebody's skull, you could determine his personality. And Lombroso himself, he believed that by studying how an individual looks, and how his organism, the peculiarities and differences in the looks of people, you could determine which one of them is more likely to be a criminal.
We're running out of this medicine.
I know, Doctor. We sent the purchase order, though, and Mrs. Donovan refused it.
Once again.
Can't you do anything?
Donovan takes her instructions directly from Dr. Fuller. I'm afraid I can do nothing about it for the moment.
Well, it seems I really have no choice but to cut off the water, because I've been everywhere else, I think. Which makes me feel bad about the young nurse, but well.
I can't shut this with my bare hands. I need a tool.
So I guess I need like a wrench or something. But this episode has been long enough, so as is tradition, I'm going to read my journal. If you're not interested in that, you can skip the rest. I read that already, so... I found a book in the bookseller's safe. There was something wrong with it. It smelled of death and putrefaction. I had a bad feeling. I read it to understand why I had such feelings. What happened after that? Where am I? And the Pierce section is unavailable. Nothing new in Darkwater. This is nothing new either. Okay, so there was pretty much nothing to read here so far, but the episode was long enough anyway, so I'm going to end it here. That's all for this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!